Welcome back to Hope for the Caregiver. This is Peter Rosenberger. This is the nation's #1 program for you as a family caregiver. Let me ask you a quick question. Are you struggling with some legal matters? Okay, could be getting a power of attorney. Do you have all the right documents? You got a will, medical power of attorney, all those kinds of things. What about you just got a dispute with something? What about something that's kind of troubling you with some estate planning or some conflict within your family over something, or somebody has done something that you're, pretty uncomfortable with, and you need to have a lawyer that gets involved? How much does all that cost you? How much is all that going to run you? They say lawyers are pretty expensive. What if you could have a service that provides all of that and so much more for just a fraction of what an hourly lawyer is going to charge you? What if you could do it? If I said you could do it for under $30 a month, would you believe me? Well, you ought to, because I've been doing it for years, and that's why I use LegalShield. And I brought in somebody today that I want to talk about this wonderful service that's available, because as caregivers, we're running into all kinds of things. We don't know what we're going to be faced with sometimes from day to day. Knowing that you have a lawyer that is there for you, to advocate for you, to give you counsel and guidance on really sticky matters, and it's not going to break your wallet to do it. And so I invited Michelle Schulman, who introduced me to this program many years ago. And I signed up, and I have been involved with, I'll tell you one thing that I did. I had a dispute with Lyft, the rideshare service. And so got an attorney involved in that. There's all kinds of things that are going to come up in our daily lives. Do you have that kind of resource to go and get you a law firm? Most of us don't. If you do, God bless you. But you know what? For the rest of us, there's a better plan. And so, Michelle, thank you for being a part of the program today. Welcome, and glad to have you here.
Well, thanks, Peter. It's a pleasure to be here.
This service is an extraordinary opportunity for people to be able to protect themselves and their loved ones, and to navigate through the sticky wicket. Talk a little bit about it. Tell me how you got involved with this.
We got involved in it. We had heard about it and thought it was a great thing, but like so many of us, it was like, yeah, it'd be nice to have, but. And we kind of put it off. And then my husband had somebody sue him. It was a frivolous lawsuit. And we spoke to an attorney, and he wanted a lot of money as a retainer. So Larry said, well, let's try this LegalShield thing and see how it works.
Can I interrupt you just for a second? Just out of curiosity, how much was the retainer?
It was $4,500 22 years ago.
$4,500.
Yep. And that's it. So he came home and said, let's try this LegalShield and see how it works. We signed up, and they found us an attorney. And because it was a pre-existing issue, he needed a retainer as well, but it was $1,200. He made the entire issue go away in 2 weeks. It just disappeared. And he sent us a letter and said, thank you so much for allowing me to represent you. Please let me know if I can help you in the future. And this was the corker, Peter. In that envelope was a check. We got a refund from a lawyer for $300. So for a $4,500 retainer, and I know you have listeners out there that have used lawyers and attorneys, and they have paid them thousands of dollars, and they have never known where that money went, how the attorney spent it. They can't get a statement. They don't get any itemized anything. And here we have an attorney give us a refund. It just blew our minds and got us believing in this to begin with.
That's extraordinary. And I know that there are so many stories like that. And I know the headache it took off of me to think I somehow have to figure this out by myself. I mean, you, of course, know Gracie and me and known our journey, and it's too big for one person, and to try to navigate without some type of legal counsel that they can go to. And we may think it's oh, I don't want to trouble a lawyer with this. That's what they're in the business of doing. And you find out that this thing first off, it's extremely affordable, and then it'll pay for itself real quick. I've used this with traffic tickets.
As have I.
We're not going to talk about our driving, but that was a long time ago. For all kinds of things, and it's and then there's a new product that you put me onto, ID Shield. Talk a little bit about that.
ID Shield, and we hear it all the time. In fact, on the news right now, Russia may be coming in and doing, some amazing cyber hacks. We just never know how our personal lives will be impacted by someone with nefarious thoughts. And our ID Shield allows us to have the peace of mind that all of our information, we enter it in a very, very secure site. And the system is continuously going out and checking literally a billion websites. It blew my mind when I heard how many, to see if any of our information is out there. And on the black web, is it available for sale, where somebody can take it and then use it? But the strongest part of our ID Shield is if you suspect or you are a victim, we have licensed investigators that have all the letters after their name because they've been certified in all sorts of, fraud resolution and identity theft types of things. They go out and put our lives back together. Let me ask you, would you know how to check if there's a driver's license in your name in any other state than where you live?
I don't know how to do it in the state that I live in.
That's it. Would you know if there's a warrant for your arrest in, not only your own state, but any place else? And this is it with identity theft. Too many people think that it's just about money. But quite frankly, that is the least amount of identity theft. People want your information to do all sorts of things, even to create their own life so that they can be hidden. Very, very scary stuff. Very scary.
It really is, Michelle. And as a caregiver, I can tell you, I've got too many exposed fronts in my life. There's just too many things that are hitting me. This is one that doesn't need to be. This is one that I could shore up and put that one to bed, knowing that I have a path of protection and a path of advocacy, and I can do this starting at less than $30 a month. That's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is, and it's exactly what you said. And what we have found over the years is that I don't have to worry about, do I have the right answer? I can call my law firm in my home state. I can ask a question about a $5 parking ticket, or I can call and talk about a potential multi-million dollar medical malpractice lawsuit. And I know that I have qualified, excellent attorneys that will give me the best advice and will work as hard as they can to fix my issue, to answer my question, so that my life can go on and I can be free. And as a caregiver, having been one myself, I know how time is so, so precious, and that emotionally and mentally and physically, 100% of us is being given to that person we're caring for, as well as more than likely, the rest of our family. And then when we have things happen that just puts a monkey wrench into everything and just throws us off base, it is so wonderful, as you just said, to have an advocate that I can call and say, listen, this is what's going on. My father isn't getting good care in the nursing home. The bill that was supposed to be paid has not been paid by the insurance company. I don't want to be responsible for that. What do we do? And to be able to have an attorney step in and take it
who is not emotionally involved.
Yeah, very.
That's the key right there for me, is that we're so torqued. You just said it a minute ago, we're so torqued emotionally, and then we get to have somebody who is not, and they can bring a cool head to it and help guide us through it. So scripture says there's wisdom in a multitude of counselors, and if we're trying to Lone Ranger this thing by ourselves, we're in real trouble. And
let me tell you a story that
you have no idea how much you have encouraged me through this program over these, I don't know, I've been doing this, 8 years? I don't know how long I've been doing
more
it.
Than that now. Yeah.
But it's just been such a help. So I'm sorry I talked over you that, but I wanted you to know that this has real life practical applications. This is not something we just file away. Okay, we did it. No. This is something I'm using and enjoying the benefits thereof.
That's it. And one of the ways I use it as a caregiver, I was caring for my father. He had a massive stroke, and I was unable to care for him physically, and we needed to put him into a nursing home, and all the emotional trauma with that, and the guilt and everything else. And the other problem was, being a male, it's very difficult finding a vacancy for a man in a nursing home. So we found a bed for him, and I went to the nursing home, and they gave me the stack of papers to sign. And because I'm a member of LegalShield, I was able to say immediately, I don't sign anything without my attorney reviewing it. I took all the forms. I was able to scan them in and send them into the law firm. An attorney called me back, and he spent probably close to an hour. We went through every single form. He explained what it was. I was able to sign it, and we had one last form, and he said, Mrs. Schulman, as your attorney, I strongly advise you do not sign this form. And I said, why? He said, it will make you financially responsible for any money owed at the end of your father's visit. At some point, there will be an end to it. And I said, will they let him in the nursing home? And he said, there isn't any reason why they wouldn't. Well, I went back to the home, and I was shaking. I was so worried. And I handed the forms back to the woman, and I said, there's one form here I've been advised by my attorney not to sign. She looked at it and she said, okay. Well, this was about 10 years ago. My father passed away 6.5 years later. I received over $9,000 of unpaid bills of various kinds. And I was each one of them able to say that I am not responsible for this bill, and I did not have to pay it. Thank you, LegalShield.
Less than $30 a month goes a long ways towards 9,000, doesn't it?
That's it.
Well, listen, I want you to come on and just to talk about this a little bit, because I think this is an incredible service that every caregiver I know should do themselves this favor. This is a gift to you. I know that people say, well, I'm not going to use a lawyer. You don't know. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You don't know what's coming around the pike just next week. And, you get into a fender bender. You don't know. You don't know what's going on. And can you really afford not to have something like this? And so I've been doing it myself for many, many years. My son does it. My business partner does it. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I am grateful for it. And here's how you go. Just go out to Hope for the Caregiver, hopeforthecaregiver.com. Click on our ad. It's right there. Select the product or the package that you would like, what meets your needs best. There'll be a link there. You just click on it. You'll see my picture. Just go and take a look and see what works for you. And if you have any questions, you can contact me. And if I have any questions, I contact Michelle. So it works out that way. So I want you to know, Michelle, how much I appreciate you coming on today. Michelle Schulman of the Nathan Group. She is here to advocate for LegalShield, and she's been a great, great friend and resource to me as I've gone through some of these very challenging times. So thank you, Michelle.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Peter.
All right. This is Peter Rosenberger. This is Hope for the Caregiver, hopeforthecaregiver.com. We'll be right back.